and I had to hop on and say hi.
What
Promise
up,
not to
Juan?
dookie on the floor.
Thank you.
I didn't catch what you guys were talking about, but I just want to say my first impression of Martin Shaw's book, Liturgies from the Wild. I might be getting the title wrong because I just got it on Amazon and I've been listening to it, but loving it, to be honest with you. So that was it.
Nice. Thank you.
So that was it. Just want to say hi. I'll be listening. Gonna go
Good to see you,
drive.
buddy. Good to see you.
God bless you, Ron.
Who left already?
Ron left?
Oh, Ron left. My bad. And then Claire's backstage, but I got to see you before I add you on. Beta Destroyer number 2. Claire, you can come on and say something ridiculous, and then I'll just remove you too. Please don't.
Claire's coming after me because I banned her on Christian Baxter's channel.
And Nathan, here she is. Okay, Nathan, I'll let you back on after a while, but like you can't do the pussies and the your mom stuff, dude. I already said that. You know? Okay. Who's next? Nick, what up, buddy?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Well, the kids are with the grandparents for the day. I don't often get a time to hop on a Luke stream or any stream. So here I am, not following your argument because I was doing other stuff, but I'm showing up here to say hey, and I can offer you the opportunity to give a more like elevator. We're in there for 30 seconds, make your pitch, which maybe you need anyway. So you're welcome.
Of what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I'm saying that spirit is fundamental to law, and that if you are looking for receipts when it comes to land ownership or anything, there's a thing behind the thing, which is trust, which is the spirit of trust that's behind any of that. And I think if you don't have that, it will collapse. So the people that are just looking for receipts, whether it's in Rome and the magisterium or whether it's in land ownership or anything, they're not going to get what they want because trust is fundamental. That's my pitch. Anyone can respond to that, or Joseph. I don't know if you were going to say anything.
No. So I don't appreciate that you skipped me over to
I'm sorry.
Address Mr. Free Willian over here. I get it though.
Thank you for just saying. You can just say I don't appreciate that, and that's fine.
Yeah. You.
I appreciate Joseph being skipped always.
Yeah. So I didn't want to come on here and make fun of anybody or strawman anybody. I just sincerely wanted to come on to have us men of Proto-Indo-European descent acknowledge that we can't go back in time. We can't undo the Aryan invasion into the Indian subcontinent or the expansion past the Caucasus or the Bellbreaker culture. None of this, and we just need to acknowledge that we are beneficiaries of that Proto-Indo-European expansion. We can't do anything about it. Can't undo the evils of destroying pre-Vedic society or religion. But I just want us all men of Proto-Indo-European descent to make a stance against this and join the milk abstinence pledge that to show our solidarity with the people indigenous people of India or Europe. We will all take a moment to abstain from milk drinking. That's
Ethan, was that milk? Okay.
I think this is what Mark would want. So this is just a stance to help Mark and to, not demonize Mark Parker for his outrageous views, but rather understand him and join in that solidarity. So.
Yeah,
Nick,
I know. Listen,
can I touch your brown Indian boobies on stream for some white racists to make them sexually confused?
What are we, Nathan? Are you talking about your fiance?
What's that, Nev?
I don't think you can touch her boobs.
Yeah,
on
this should just be an American stream only. Sorry, there's just some really weird.
You
stuff
and me,
going
press ups right now. Let's see who's more or less of a bitch. Let's go. Press ups.
Nathan, I kind of do want to have a push-up competition with you, but I don't want to do this. Sorry, you're done.
Yeah, American exceptionalism is not being overturned by the Brits, but Sorry.
I'm not in peak form. I really think I could probably only do. Now, this, depending on where you're standing, this may seem like I'm being cocky, but to me, it feels like I'm not in that great a shape. Like I could probably do 60 push-ups, maybe at this point. I don't know.
But okay, going back to land ownership, Luke, you're saying it's something that is written down. It's this literary thing. The first examples we have of nation or just anything beyond just a local city, right? Is you look at Sumerian records and they're basically just instances of tribute or agreement that our city will be subservient to your city, and that it was never, nationhood never started off as we are people of similar descent, let us join together and be more powerful as one and cooperate. It was always one of, okay, we're the big boys. You're going to work under us and under our leadership. We're going to place men of our, noble line in place here, and we're going to ensure stability, not because of blood and soil, but because of our, our will to power over this area. And something that I think is totally lost on someone like Mark Parker is that the transformation of what we understand society and citizenship is totally transformed by Christendom's appropriation of, like Plato's ideal of what a citizen is. And we shifted away from, the improvement of the Greeks over, the Babylonians is one of your citizenship is measured insofar as you have a capacity to propagate and improve the existing community. And Christianity took that a step forward and said, regardless of your capacity to engage in this civilization, you are a citizen because you're made in the image of God. You have the dignity that is due to you. And so I guess what I'm just trying to say is that there's a bigger conversation of what even civilization is that is not even applicable to the dynamics of pre-Columbian America or the colonization of the Americas and Africa. That it's completely comparing apples to oranges. And I think what Mark Parker is trying to get at, and this is I guess where I'm trying to steelman him, is he's looking at the encroachment of these recently acquired lands by certain tribes with an established power like America coming in and setting up shop. He's looking at that as if Russia has invaded Ukraine or something, or the Bulgars have taken over Serbia or something. He's looking at it different weights. I don't know if any of that made sense.
I couldn't really listen to all that because I was doing the push-ups. So
hey Joseph, can you sum it up in one sentence?
What?
I was hoping Joseph would sum what he rambled on for in one sentence, if it's
give us your pitch in just like a few sentences.
Well, my pitch is
I only came on. Go ahead, Joseph. You're the white man.
Sorry, under Sharia law, I do not permit a woman to speak in public. Get out of here.
Well,
no. My pitch is.
It's not your stream, is it?
I think that he was just kidding. All right, let's do your pitch.
It's an old joke.
Yeah.
So, would you like to sum up what you were saying about Mark? It was some kind of Aryan invasion theory.
No,
we were kings.
So once again, you failed to realize what I was originally saying was a joke. So that was all a joke earlier.
Oh no.
But
Okay, you were promoting Christian nationalism and telling Mark
no,
Walker that.
So you didn't listen to me. I was saying that our conception of a state and of people of a state has been radically transformed over the course of history, from the Bronze Age to
Can't we just stick to
antiquity.
America? Can't we just stick to America?
So
I
it's
mean, we
a
don't want to
bigger.
do the history of ancient Britons to now. Just stick to the American Republic, because it's too long otherwise, right?
No,
Do you
no.
want to start with the
So
wars of the Reformation?
I'm not sure where you want to go at this. And
Well,
you
Mark
could
said.
you could turn your camera on, and if you want to be hostile.
No. I don't want you to be distracted by my youth and beauty. So just listen to my words.
You certainly do not sound like you have vitality in you.
All right, now that was not quite very nice. So we have to be careful here, but also there's a little bit too much crosstalk. So like, really, can we?
Isn't that
can
what
you
people
just
want?
Claire just doesn't
Instead
want
of
to
just
talk to me
monologuing,
because
I'll show you what hospitality means. If you come to my stream, I won't be giving all these stupid rules and make you listen to my crap for an hour. I will just let you speak and let you feel heard. Now, Luke, I only wanted to ask you what the hell you're talking about. That's always been my agenda, my purpose. But I guess you don't feel like explaining yourself. You just want to witter on. And you have all these jerks wanting, prepared to listen to you monologue for a whole hour and more just to get on. Kick me now. Kick me.
mentally ill person.
No, it's so Claire, I was gonna say I tried to summarize everything that I was saying for Nick earlier when I said all receipts, all covenants, all agreements are preceded, they're undergirded by trust. So that's what I was saying. But seriously, I'm not gonna let people on the stream who break the rules. Claire keeps telling me like I should have rules, and then I enforce the rules, and then she gets mad at me. Ethan, do you have thoughts? Look at Rigel, come on stream. We need some calm. This is too calm, as the kids say.
I was going to ask you what the difference is between a body and an institution, because I think that you use those as separate things, and I use them interchangeably. So I don't know how you delineate, if you delineate.
I think that an institution, and people would probably disagree with this, but the way that I think of it is that an institution is a subcategory of a body. And I think that an institution is particularly something that has emerged and has a intrinsically bound connection to the technology of the written word. And so I think institutions are bodies, corporate bodies that emerged in the like dominance of the written word. And that's why I think they have a particular, the reason we're talking about receipts is because we think of institutions as merely bound to the written word. That's why we're talking about receipts.
Yeah, okay, that's a very clear distinction. I would just like about land, I would make one small point. I lived in Alaska for 3 months, and there's lots of land that is nobody owns. You can do whatever you want, and you can get eaten by bears. So it's like you can have that and get eaten by bears, or you can have land that's safer and you don't get eaten by bears, but then somebody owns it. And one's not necessarily better than the other, but like without ownership, there is a higher degree of chaos. Although there's lots of chaos when people own things too.
Well, that could be, but you could say, I mean, and part of this is like, it's unavoidable, but I think like even in pre-European colonization, American, Indian, Native American things, like they didn't, I don't know for sure. I don't know the history of this. I don't know that they thought of things because they were kind of nomadic as land ownership, although there was some degree of that because the tribes lived in certain areas.
It was like, so there was like wolf packs.
Yeah.
It was like you you respected certain limits because you knew that there would be hostility if there was encroaching upon it. So it would be kind of like crossing, you know, a threshold that would be inappropriate. Just
And even
was-
then,
it
it,
was-
wouldn't be perfect.
sorry, Chad.
No,
but-
no.
I
There's
was saying,
there's always-
even
yeah.
then, it would have like you would have like kind of just trouble, difficulties.
Yeah,
Well,
there are no
yeah.
solutions. There are trade-offs. So in every medium, every way of people organizing, there's going to be positives and negatives. Like I don't romanticize,
Right.
you know, earlier
I
times.
do.
Well, okay, but here's the thing: is well, with a lot of these tribes that you know are kind of in the public imagination as the poor people that were wiped out by European colonization and whatnot. A lot of what you saw in like especially middle America, Midwest, is you had Algonquin tribes that were migrating westward and displacing the peoples that originally inhabited those lands. And so it's just this it's a very fluid state of affairs since time immemorial. And so it's kind of a moot point to act as if this land was, you know, the providential allotment for this given tribe. I don't
What
think
about-
that they looked at it in that way.
What about all those damn new people who keep being born? You know, they just keep invading us.
I hate it. They're a suck. They're a suck on our resources. That was sarcasm.
Can we not do that? Explain our jokes.
Listen, well, because
No, Claire will come on and ask us to, you know, clarify whether those were jokes or not.
I mean, we could keep talking about the land thing. I also am kind of curious of the dynamics that happen on this stream because Claire and Nathan are even gone from Backstream because I kicked him from the Backstream because he was backstage because he was insulting Joseph in the private chat. I don't like you really, Joseph. You really upset them. Why does everyone think that is?
Well, because I don't know. I've been on the internet long enough to not, I guess, play by the same rules that the charity and patience that is allotted by, I would say,
Amen.
you know, some of the older representatives in TLC is one of, you know, is more of a childlike nature of, hey, let's just come together and talk and whatnot. And it's like, no, the internet is a vehicle to bring out some really crazy people. And you just quickly form a filter whether or not you're going to meaningfully engage with this person or not. And so, yeah, those two bozos, see ya, Rip Bozo, Pack Watch, Smoke My Cigar.
No,
Not
careful.
doing
I don't
it.
know.
No,
Maybe
that's a
I
meme.
missed-
That's a meme. It's a meme.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are some folks that I just honestly, I don't believe or trust motives or even stated motives, and so I just, at that point, I'm just like whatever. I'm okay with kind of trying to match with a similar energy, which is like, no, I'll just block it. Like I don't. If you're not playing by any kind of generative rules, then and you haven't displayed any generative or generosity really over the last several years, well, why am I to think that it's going to change now? And I think that's what kind of happens when, at least when I get kind of like dismissive of people.
Well, right, and that's my struggle a little bit with people like Claire is I'm just like I've been trying to be very generous with you for a very long time, and now I'm just trying to actually hold to the rules, which is something I thought that you wanted me to do. And I'm trying to be clear when you ask me to be clear, but part of the problem is, and I was saying this to people off stream, is like this is why I love that George MacDonald Lilith quote so much when he says like, I'm sorry I can't explain the thing to you, but the fact is there's nothing in you for apprehending it. I think I'm saying things that has substance. I just don't think that she can see it because she doesn't have the proper initiations. Because I think in order to see anything, you need initiations.
The problem is you assume that she actually wants to see what you're seeing anything different. or that there's like like an honest motive in it. And that's the problem.
Exactly what you said, Luke, there too, with there's nothing in you to apprehend this. This is, I think, goes back to the question of citizenship. There's an implicit citizenship in TLC as insofar as it's a space, and you can identify where thoughtful or profitable conversation and dialogos will occur if they're inhabiting that spirit of citizenship. And that means they're going to play by certain rules. They'll have some boundaries that they contest, but there's a core identity there that cannot be just hand waved and think that it's, this is just a fun space where we can come together. There are boundaries to the garden,
Well, I think people have to agree with that. It's like I was talking to that buddy yesterday at the brewery that I was at, and I was saying, like, this relates to the whole immigration thing. Like, you can't, to some degree, like in America, for example, you can't have open immigration to people who don't believe in democracy. You can't do that in a democratic
country. In a democratic society that is,
because that's the base belief.
You're no longer a citizen then, in the Platonic sense, because you're not a progenitor of that space you inhabit.
Unless you presume a global democratic, not yet emergent thing, then you could. But that's a different thing.
Somebody explain to me the republic part of this thing, because I know that's important. So, like, is the idea that the republic is the king itself, perhaps something like the republic itself is like a proxy for a king, and then
the Constitution is the proxy of the king.
Okay.
In an American setting, the republic is democratic insofar as we elect. This is ideal. All this needs to be understood that it was written in terms of what the ideal state would be, right? So we elect representatives who will engage in the republic, so that we're not, stuck in nested cycles of genetic patricians that are, going to be the governing elite, that we have no flexibility in getting people in and out, right? So that's kind of where that comes from, I guess. But
thank you for clearing that up.
Well, in my understanding is that we're a republic, or America is a representative democracy.
right.
So we democratically elect representatives, and then theoretically, like even in the Electoral College, I'm of the opinion, and I don't know if this is how it was formed, but it must have been, otherwise we would be just a democracy, that you elect representatives to the Electoral College, and then they can vote however they damn well please. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right. And I think something that we are seeing right now is a breakdown of that original vision of was this a good idea, but also the fact that there you go, P2K, yeah, because that would be progenerating the state, but I guess something that this applies to what we're seeing in TLC with the absurdity that was at the beginning of this conversation, is that there are necessarily hierarchies in reality, right? And that, all throughout history, you would have different estates or castes or whatever have you. And not that, those were ideal, but they're just necessary realities where there's going to be more competent people, more articulate people, stronger people. And with America in particular, we have this ideal that we are all equal, we are all equally citizens, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's a Christian thing, that was how we got there. But the problem is we are in a state where there's great distrust for the elites that we have in our society, and that's a really bad place to be, because you want you want elites, and you want elites you can trust, and you want elites that trust the people below. And the American system was set up so that that trust would be greater facilitated than just ethnic or genetic lines.
So those representatives are kind of like maps, or models that are kind of like they're not the territory themselves. They're kind of like an idea, or like you said, the ideal.
Right.
And so yeah, when they become corrupt, and yet they still hold the position, like that's nasty, dude. And yeah, and like it kind of like, and the problem is like it's combinatorially, what do they say? Combinatorial vocality, where it's not just in America now. Now, because like Claire can come on here and speak for American, even though she's not American. She demands, or says that she demands whatever. And then like, so this goes out, and we're having a global, combinatorially global explosive problem here. And then not to mention our own self-centered desires wrapped up in all of that. And perhaps I'm projecting, but yeah, what a mess. Oh my gosh.
Well, sorry.
I think part of that, Chad, though, is because it's kind of like what I was saying earlier with democracy. There's somehow, I don't know that I fully understand this, but through capitalism, global capitalism and technology, it's almost like it's that Nick Land quote of like, capitalism is the seeds of AI. There's something weird about global capitalism where people kind of presume a global democracy. People just kind of assume like that's just where we're going. Like liberalism has kind of overtaken the world. America's tried to spread democracy all over the world.
That's the post-world. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That's the post-World War II consensus, and that's breaking down because of like the disaffected youth, Zoomers that have no respect for the game that's being played.
Yeah, somewhat. No, that's related to, so like people are saying, because like people are still, there are some people that are like talking about justice for Nathan and Claire that are mad at you in the comments, and I think that's part of it. You are kind of a representative of, and I'll just put my cards on the table. Like part of this is like I know Joseph personally to some degree. Joseph, like he sat in my house, like he sat right over there on the other side of this table. And he lives somewhat close to me. Like we know each other. We've hung out. I've been in his hometown. And so like there's a degree of trust that affords. Now I will admit some of what he was saying earlier makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but part of that is because the different mediums that he was talking about, like he's playing a different game than I am capable of playing because of his age and familiarity with the internet. Like it makes me uncomfortable. I treat people, because I'm not fully internet literate to some degree, and maybe I'm naive, I treat people on the internet like I would treat people that I meet on the street. And I think Zoomers are like, that's dumb.
Well, no, if only we could return to that. That's what the early days of like YouTube and forums were, in the late 2000s. And unfortunately, it's gone, and we won't get it back. The only place we see that is in the TLC, I guess, that I've seen.
And I don't know how to navigate it well. Like I'm trying. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I would just recommend that a good rule of thumb is you just don't even interact with the Claires and the that atheist guy, like 50-year-old atheist guy.
T-Grog.
T-Grog. You don't interact. Those are the trolls you don't feed. Those aren't actually even good trolls. They're lol cows. They exist only to be. Sorry to say this. They exist only to be cyberbullied, to be laughed at. If you were to give them up to the greater internet, that's the realm they inhabit, and it's just that I'm saying that from like a biological ecology,
I've only begun to understand what lol cows is. I just learned that term recently. Rigel, what is up, my friend?
Hey guys, man, I love all of you. Good to see
Rigel, I love that you're driving the car. The car's not driving you.
Waymo around.
Thank you for mentioning my trauma.
Yeah, totally. It's way better that he's live streaming while driving than live streaming while being driven.
No hands. No, I am actually stopped, believe it or not. But I have some gentle pushback for Joseph.
Oh man.
Okay, gentle
I'm all for
pushback.
it.
Gentle pushback. When Ethan was talking about Alaska and kind of the difference between, living in Alaska versus living in the city. Like, I feel like the TLC, these channels are just like living in Alaska, like you don't go out there to like have a curated Amazon delivery experience. You like go out there to be in nature, and maybe you'll like lose a couple fingers from frostbite and a leg from a bear, but like you feel alive. And this is what like Saint Herman did. This is what a lot of these like Russian monks, they would just go out into the wilderness and set up shop and build little like monasteries, and churches and towns would start forming around them just from the love they had for the people who came wandering by. The love for people like Claire, who is maybe slowly coming out of the lurk. She keeps coming back. She keeps coming back for like just a little morsel of food. And so my sense would be not to put like a biological kind of frame around people like Claire, but and maybe I'm talking about Claire too much when she's not here. I don't know. I would just like continue to make space with boundaries and just be quick to enforce those boundaries, because maybe people like that, maybe there's a part of myself that needs boundaries too. And so like asserting some boundaries is just healing myself and the wild.
Man, Rigel, I appreciate that. I obviously love you. That's great. That's fantastic. That's going to be my approach. Like I am not yet at the point where I'm ready to ban people. Yeah. I banned Claire on Twitter, or I blocked her because I just don't want to engage her in that medium, and I don't want her notifications. And then I reply to, it's just like the same thing over and over that I can't keep doing. Yeah. But like, I encourage her to keep coming on stream, keep engaging, keep doing all that stuff. But if you break the rules that I've now clearly established, then I will mute you, or I'll remove you from stage and I'll let you back on. And then if you do it again, then you're done for today. Sorry.
And it's such a gentle enforcement. Like, you're not physically hurting them. You're just clicking end.
Yeah,
yeah. It's like
that's precisely what I'm saying. Okay, Rigel, I really appreciate your words. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that it's you're just clicking a button to remove this person. You're not physically going there to hurt them or silence them from civilization. But I think there is that gentleness that the time that we are in now, with just how people are making their beds and lying in them, and the places that have community and have a future for that community, the ground is kind of already laid out. I'll give you an example. If you're late 20s, early 30s, do you have children? Okay. That's like a binary, a harsh binary of and I mean this in the sense of, are you choosing to have children? Are you choosing to have a family? 20 years from now, the future is going to be set by those people that have chosen voluntarily to have families. And I'm using that as a harsh, binary for a reason. So when we look at a situation like this with a person like the people that were on here earlier, I don't see that their vision or their participation in a world is going to amount to anything long term. And so I think your approach to what you're saying, that can exist in a community like a church, that can exist in a small town. But this is this internet domain is facilitating those spaces that already exist. I don't know if we'll ever You know, unless we're jacking in with our brain implants, this space isn't going to amount to that, I guess.
So
You might be right. I mean, you might be right, but I also kind of, there's this like thread of possibility that I just tend to it takes.
I think that's a musician in you. It creates such an optimism for the
Yeah,
world.
but no, because I'm the opposite of what he's saying. I think
yeah. Well,
I
you're
think
a
what
blues
you're
singer. This guy's writing a good tavern hit. I don't know.
well, he actually knows how to read and write music. I only know how to play it and create it. But like part of the thing is I think when you even when you ban them from the stream or whatever, you're giving them exactly what they want. You're playing by their rules. Like it's not like and then like the other dynamic of like calling for justice from the comment section. I mean that's only feigning justice. Like it's only pretending. It's part of a game. It's all just and that can be really frustrating. And maybe perhaps like the mode that by which the trolls are playing are maybe that mode is designed somehow, maybe by accident or whatever, to get me to not take myself so damn seriously. But I mean that what's frustrating is these topics can often seem very important and very powerful, and like our society depends on the results of these topics going a particular way and all this different kind of stuff. I know that like I know I felt like that, and so like when I feel like I'm playing in an arena where people are just kind of being destructive because they can, because nobody will do anything to stop them. That's so frustrating. And meanwhile, like I know I'm not the only one who feels like the world is crumbling and I'm in that world and the world is going to end. And here's this a-hole over here that can't have any compassion, and I'm expected to be passionate because I'm a Christian.
Well,
and I'm doing it online. Yeah,
that's what they're actually trying to accomplish. Is that they're not trying to accomplish getting banned. They're trying to accomplish sowing that seed that you just described. And so it's better to just ban them than to.
Thank you.
Have that set.
Well, and here's the thing. Because this flotilla works this way, and like I said earlier, that's all my responsibility here. That's my call to make. Nobody else's. I can listen to you guys. If I want to ban them, I'll ban them. If I don't want to ban them, I don't want to ban them. And if that really bothers, and if people can't handle it, they can leave for a while. Here's the thing. As a self-professed hopeful universalist, I feel the conviction to put my money where my mouth is. I have to. And that doesn't mean that I won't exercise discipline and hold people's feet to the fire, which is what I'm trying to do. But it's like what Rigel said. I can't. I'm not gonna ban people. It's like Charles Spurgeon said it. If people are gonna go to hell, they're gonna go over my dead body.
And to reinforce that, Jesus in the upper room when the apostles were hanging out, they were afraid, things didn't work out the way they thought they were going to be. Jesus, he came up. He didn't knock on that door. He walked through the door. Okay? He walked through the door in the upper room, through the locked door of my hard heart.
Amen. I gotta go. See you, fellas.
All right, see you, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, sorry for bringing up the temperature in your house. This is your house.
Hey, buddy.
I'm just trying to be your
through it.
enforcer here. I don't know.
Hey, Joseph, do you have a second, or do you have to go like immediately?
Oh, what's up, man?
Well, you've been participating particularly in this part of the conversation that's brought me in, which is this sense that there are these different domains, and you even mentioned it, like you said in a certain sense, well, that's the domain of the church, and this and that and the other, and there's this qualification that we assume within ourselves in all of our relationships that qualify a person to be within certain sort of like inner sanctums of relationship, there are people that I would not think twice about having stay in my house for an extended period of time because I just know them that way and I trust them that way. And I would wish that to be the case in my relationships throughout all the people that I would consider part of the sort of the macro church, like the body of Christ. Like, isn't that the qualifying characteristic that has somebody being in Christ? And maybe I'm being a little bit too Christian and churchy in this description because I think this sort of applies even outside the domain of Christian theology. But
I do have to go. I'll just
I
say
can't
this.
hear you.
I'll just say this. The medium is the message. And
Can anybody hear Joseph?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
can hear him.
StreamYard.
Oh no,
It's
I can't hear
StreamYard.
myself.
Yeah.
You'll have to listen back, Robin.
yeah,
Sorry.
I'll just say this. The medium's a message. The internet's a very particular medium. I would not expect the same degree of communion in a Call of Duty pre-match game lobby as I would at a funeral. So I guess that's what I'll say there. But I do have to go. I'll see ya.
Well said.
Love you,
Later.
Joseph.
Thanks, buddy.
Love you guys.
So what I would say to that, though, is like McLuhan also said, I'm not going to be able to find it somewhere, but he wrote this essay later on when he was converted or something, became Catholic, and he said, he did say the medium and the message are one, but he said in Christ, the medium and the message, like they are the exact same thing. So like that's what it means to be Christ, is where you simultaneously incarnate and transcend the medium, where you're not inhibited. Because when he said the medium is the message, what he was saying is that your message is always going to be inhibited by whatever medium you're in. But in Christ, you can fully bring the message into any medium, which is the same thing as when St. Paul says, I have become all things to all people that for the sake of Christ I may win some. So that's what I would argue, is that you can, in every medium, if you are behaving as you ought to behave, if you are manifesting Christ, you can transcend the limitations and the trade-offs of any medium. I think that's what McLuhan is saying, which is what I'm striving to do. Hopefully that made sense.
Totally made sense.
Okay. And then since anyhow, we're going to have to close in 10 minutes. Let's do some final words. I think this is a good stopping point. I feel okay. My final word is I feel okay about this. I was very nervous when Nathan came on, and what I was nervous about happened. And I think it was a little uncomfortable, but I think it was okay. And I think it was good, ultimately. That's what I would say about all this. And I think I got to say the main thing about what I was trying to say about spirit and law and land acknowledgements. Because you get into problems. It's like that Billie Eilish thing from the Grammys when she was just saying, like, there are no illegal immigrants if we're on stolen land. And everybody was just kind of making fun of her because that. 'Cause they're like, how can the land be stolen if no one owns it? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you're saying something that's like an oxymoron. Like, there can't be stolen land if no one owns it. So then, like, why don't... And then what I always say, too, is I'm just like, well, then... give away your house then. If you really believe that, put your money where your mouth is. Don't just talk about it. Like, give your house up to some Native Americans then. But like, people don't want to do that, you know. I don't know. So it's like anyhow, that's my final word.
Do you want me to go? I'll go for it, Ethan.
I mean, my final word, I've just been thinking about like scapegoats. I mean, because essentially it's like you have this group and then it's like we send people out and then it's like the group coheres and it's like, are scapegoats fundamental? Like, can you not have a scapegoat? And I don't know. I really haven't read like Girard. But it was just interesting. I was just watching everything going like scapegoats. So yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking about.
Man, yeah. There's a lot. I'm going to respond to that a little bit, and then we can hear from Rigel in chat. I'll try to be brief, but like my whole understanding of the Girardian thing is his whole like his book on violence and scapegoating, where he came up with all this idea, was that essentially he's flipping the narrative that religious violence came out of that religion created violence. He's like, no, the scapegoat was actually a cure for violence. Religion was the antidote for violence because there was there was violence everywhere. Everyone did what was right in their own eyes. It's like the flood. Everyone was violent. And then what religion did was say, like, we're going to take our corporate violence and put it on one innocent victim, the scapegoat. One thing, we're going to take all of our violence that we all want to have, and we're just going to have a ceremony where we just like, this person takes it. That's what the scapegoat was. And so there is a way in a Girardian sense where you can, this is a conversation I need to have with Jess P, because this is what always happens. It's the Christ and Antichrist, where like the scapegoat was actually a cure for a problem. But then what religion does is it quickly flips that and it can become a negative thing. So the cure then can become a curse. So now we have scapegoating. Like scapegoating was a good thing. It was a cure for collective violence. But now we have scapegoating, which is a bad thing. And I'm not sure exactly that that's what we're doing. Bodies are naturally going to include and exclude. That's just inevitable. Whether or not we're scapegoating, I don't know. That's my piece about that. Okay, Rigel, Chad, or Robin?
Yeah. Medium is the message. That's what's standing out to me. And I have both a final word and pitch that relates to land ownership. That is something that I would pitch to my clients back in my real estate days when I was in like late stage realtor, where I was kind of like going full mystic and quoting Tom Waits lyrics to my clients, like, all that you love is all that you own, and like, what is ownership? You know, these are the conversations we'd have while driving around looking at houses. And the thing that I would pitch then, and I still stand by as like the ultimate form of land ownership, and that would be to develop a system where like you really only own a place. You mark your territory basically with your own content. And if your content can't be detected, you no longer own it. So if you try to get like too spread out, you know, if you try to take over, dominate, you just can't do it, because you'll lose your scent on the piece that is your home. And
it's
so
like creative ownership. Like if you can show you're creating here. Yeah.
Yes. And so every time you're kind of ritualize this, I would say that every time you make a deposit into your land, you would sing, "Thine own of thine own, we offer unto thee in behalf of all and for all," while leaving that deposit. The cycle of life just continues and continues, and it becomes a process of building and nourishment. But our land laws aren't going to go for that. So
yeah, for sure. Well, right, because agreed. Good. That was great. Thank you. Good. Chad, Robin.
I don't know. I don't really know. I think the scapegoating stuff, the Girardian mimetic rivalry thing is interesting, because I think my understanding of the mimetic rivalry is general at best, but it has to do with like, you know, like the thing that I am upset about in that other person is something that I desire or I already have, or something like that. And so, or it's the opposite, I guess. And so that just tells me that if I'm in fact scapegoating Claire Call, it's because she actually has nothing to say, and she's actually not a person, but she's the character Claire Call is not a person, but rather a character trying to invoke a particular spirit. And whereas I think that is the inverse of what the TLC actually is, and that's why the TLC is kind of like rebels against or whatever. And I think Jacob Federacci has said that from the beginning, and we probably should have listened. But whatever, it is what it is. I'm happy that somebody around here is willing to give that character a little bit of runway to kind of show us what it is that it's trying to be. So
Yeah, no, that was a good chat. And then Robin, I'm gonna have you close this out. But what I would say to that is I have hopes that I think shoot, what's his name? Why am I blanking on it? It's behind the paywall right now, but it's gonna drop. Gavin. So like Gavin's conversation with PVK is gonna be dropping soon, and Gavin is one of those people. Like Gavin's a great example of he came into the TLC very much as like a colonizer who wanted to like rule and tell everybody what to think, and then he was transformed. And he's
no,
not
he wanted to help. He did want to help.
But I think
that's
Claire
the
wants to help
difference.
too. Okay. Well,
That-
anyhow, Robin, close us out. We'll see.
Obviously, I'm interested in opening a whole new can of worms. So I'll
tease
spill
us.
it. But yeah, at some point, I would love to discuss how the desire for certain kinds of trustworthiness in relationship and intimacy in relationship are sort of related to this sort of centered set, bounded set thinking. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with that term, but that we can be united and take cooperative, collective action toward a goal and identify who is going in the same way, focused on the same things by confirming what it is that we're doing as much as we could, sort of trying to protect the boundaries of the sort of the needs of the group itself, and you kind of can't have one without the other in reality, because we care about each other and we don't want to see each other be hurt, and so we do need to like have that left brain right brain recursion to see, is the thing that I'm going for, can I still get it with these other factors around me that may be interested in interrupting my effort, or taking the things that are going to be necessary as we go along. And so I'm not sure how to wrestle with that, but I see it as very important that we be honest about the characteristics that we require of one another as friends, and we call it out when somebody isn't behaving according to those standards, while also not focusing so much on regulating those things that we aren't doing the thing that friendship is intended to serve. So there we
Yeah.
go.
No, I think that's good. And as you were talking, I think the idea that came up that I think is good is center and fringe. Like you need the heretic. You need the other. You need something that is different in order to even be able to distinguish contrast. I've talked about this a lot. If everything's just a monolith, it's nothing. Like a monad is nothing. You need something else, or else it's just nothing and everything is all the same. You can't even have two. So you need the fringe, you need the heretic, but the heretic isn't the heart. The fringe is not the heart. And the problem is when the fringe wants to become the heart and tell the whole body how to act, you can't do that in bodies, or you're inverting that in some sort of weird way. So anyhow, I did not give you the last word, but we're going to close it there. Thank everybody for coming. Thank you all. Leave comments, Nathan, Claire, you can leave comments. Engage. Thank you all for the time. It was good. I appreciate it, friends. And until
Thanks, Luke.
next time, meow meow. And can we do a video? Can I do a video to close? I should not do it. My daughter's saying to not do it.
Uh-oh, do it.
Do it. Oh, that's a definite dad move to do it.
I feel like I don't have them loaded in here anymore. What happened? This is a bingo. This is for a Matt C bingo thing. Luke not having the video queued up. I can't do it. All right, that's it. Sorry, we're just closing. See you guys. Thank you all. Until next time.